A true test in terms of the success that we've been having with our cultural renaissance as we make America great again and restore sanity to our country is how the month of June would be perceived. Would we be inundated with LGBTQ LMNOP propaganda and mandated celebrations of the rainbow people in public schools and government institutions, just bombarded by the liberal media and the big tech platforms this year? Well, I'm proud to report that Pride Month, no pun intended, has been canceled.
Does the president have any plans on making a proclamation, or is it just going to be June this year?
Well, there are no plans for a proclamation for the month of June, but I can tell you this president is very proud to be a president for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed.
And I would just add behaviors and lifestyles that belong back in the closet. In a perfect world, this would be the message that President Trump would make. But this is just a deep fake parody, a meme.
My fellow Americans, it is with great pleasure that I am announcing that Pride Month is canceled. Pride is a sin, and we will no longer participate in deliberate moral inversions. Instead, June will be known as Confidence Month, or maybe just June.
Yeah.
Who knows? In either case, it'll be a time for us to celebrate legitimate achievements worthy of reflection. I hate to break it to some people, but putting a wiener in a butt shouldn't be on anyone's highlight reel. Very unhygienic. Love is love. That's what they say. However, poop is poop, folks. Poop is poop.
That's right, sir, and you're certainly not supposed to talk about the incontinence that occurs from certain kinds of behaviors and certain lifestyles that are celebrated by the demonic left. And nobody captures the sentiment of what normal people feel every time June rolls around than this gamer chick, Melanie Mack.
Everybody talks about black fatigue, and I get it. But can we also talk about fat fatigue? Especially with June rolling around the corner. Like, can y'all just get back in the closet for real? If you're gonna be a pervert, do it in the closet.
That's right, and in a sane society, this is how the anchors on Fox News and the Daily Wire would sound. But as everybody knows, they're all a bunch of cowards. And this is an attempted meme that someone on the left made 14 years ago and posted on Reddit, making fun of normal people, those on the right, Christians, conservatives, who opposed legalizing same-sex marriage in a pie chart labeled, "What will happen if gay marriage is legalized?" And then if you look at the key down there, you will see that the entire pie chart is just, only thing that'll happen is gay people will get married. Although, fast forward 14 years later, and you can see that all of the things that they made fun of people on the right for being concerned about, and even being overly dramatic, hyperbolic about, actually came true. You could see that some of the other possibilities there, the outcomes, where a third world war will break out, various plagues will erupt, remember the coronavirus, schools will begin teaching kids how to do you-know-what, and the terrorists will win. Many, if not most, of the big brands who post on social media celebrating the month and change their avatar, their profile picture into a logo that incorporates the rainbow have, quote, pulled back on Pride and the merchandise and events this year.
The pleasure of Pride pushed aside this year by many companies, with corporate sponsors signaling reserve. Pride organizers dismayed.
The corporate model no longer is sustainable in the political climate that we live in today.
That's in St. Louis, seeing major changes this year. While in New York, NYC Pride saying it's dealing with a budget shortfall of more than $750,000 due to dips in corporate sponsorships. A new survey of more than 200 executives by a risk management research firm shows nearly 40% plan to pull back on how they engage with Pride this year.
Well, it's about time, long overdue, and the Boise, Idaho parade was canceled, citing insufficient attendance. Aww. And NHL players will no longer be forced to celebrate the spiritual descendants of the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah.
A brief, colorful show of support, no more. Those Pride warm-up jerseys given the cold shoulder by some NHL players now officially off the ice.
We're not going to change jerseys for warm-up because that's just become more of a distraction from really the essence of what the purpose of these nights are.
While the NHL's decision applies to all so-called special interest jerseys, critics say there's no denying what this is really about.
It's about restoring our country and our culture back to normal. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, just ordered the Navy to rename a ship that leftists in the Biden administration named the USNS Harvey Milk after the infamous San Francisco LGBTQ activist who was a, how shall we say, a PDF file. I don't want to get into the details because I'm sure many of you are eating breakfast, but it's pretty obvious that he was the same type of person as Jeffrey Epstein. Parents across the country should know, however, that Sesame Street is still determined to carry on Jeffrey Epstein's legacy, posting this on all of their social media platforms first thing in the morning on June 1st, saying in our street, everyone is welcome. Together, let's build a world where every person and family feels loved and respected for who they are. Happy Pride Month. Previously, they featured Jonathan Van Ness, one of the hosts, I guess, of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, who is now, in his words, a proud member of the HIV positive community.
It's time to finally unveil Alan's monster makeover!
Wow, it's uncanny. Ellen looked just like Jonathan Van Ness.
Cookie Monster, Cookie. That is Jonathan Van Ness.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
Ready, Jonathan!
Mama Bear, some runway music, please.
Oh, yeah.
So he's wearing a dress and devil horns. A lot of the same memes get posted and circulated every year showing the disgusting things that we have to put up with just living in America in the 21st century. But I have seen a couple new ones this year, like this one. That's Dracula biting into one of the rainbow people. And if you didn't notice it there, you can check the status on the edge of his bed. He is now HIV positive. This one I think is a new one, which plays off of the black fatigue phenomenon going viral. And this is one I made several years ago. Be careful if you screenshot this and post it on the brand name social platforms because stuff like this may get you suspended. And this guy is now unironically a meme after repeatedly videotaping himself having dinner alone to see whether or not the waiter or the waitress will misgender him.
It looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Hi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically.
It's like a belly laugh for the rest of us.
I ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. The Sweetwater starts at
yes,
okay.
Sir?
Not.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time it happens.
Okay, well then get up and leave, sir.
Sorry about that. I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir, you know? Thank you. Did you call me sir? I just want to tell you that the person who gave me this called me sir.
What?
Called me sir.
Oh.
Too bad! Get out. But we should never forget that it wasn't just the left plotting and scheming that got us to this point. It was also many on the right, fake Republicans and rhinos and the corporate conservatives collaborating with them. People like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and Ronna McDaniel, who, when she was the chairwoman of the GOP, posted Happy Pride Month messages on social media. And after President Trump appointed Richard Gernell, a proud rainbow person himself, as the U.S. ambassador to Germany during his first administration, he took it upon himself not to improve the relations between the U.S. and Germany, which, of course, is a U.S. ambassador's job, but instead to leverage the power of the United States to promote LGBTQ, quote, rights around the world. Turns out that there are some sane countries in Africa where homosexuality is, or at least was, a criminal offense. And so Richard Gernell took it upon himself to try to decriminalize that in those regions. And at the time, he said he has support at home to decriminalize from the rhinos, from the fake conservatives, the corporate conservatives, like, well, Charlie Kirk, who took to Twitter to celebrate, boom, today, Botswana decriminalized homosexuality. I know this seems like a meme, like it's somebody making fun of Charlie because he was veering off so far to the left, but he really did post this. He really did celebrate promoting LGBTQ, quote, rights around the world. And the corporate conservatives and the rhinos on the right who conspired with the left and bent over for the rainbow people is what caused our country to spiral so far down into the pit of hell that this too is not a parody. This is, or thankfully was, a real promotional video produced by the United States Army.
June is LGBT Pride Month, recognizing lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans. We observe LGBT Pride Month to mark the progress we've made in embracing a society of equality.
I mean, what's next? Are the normie American people, the average Fox News and Daily Wire viewers, gonna finally realize that things got so far off the rails that even NASA was putting out pride videos in June? Oh, wait, what's this?
I am gay. I am my authentic self.
I am a queer woman.
I am a transgender woman.
I am a lesbian.
I am gay and I'm my authentic self.
What does this have to do with the space program?
I am a queer woman and I am NASA.
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 Well, no wonder the space program has been a total joke and hasn't accomplished anything in almost 60 years. I'm Mark Dice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and subscribe to my Locals page for $5 a month if you want to support my work. There you can see some uncensored clips and some commentary that's a little bit too spicy for me to post on any of the brand name social platforms. So head on over to locals.markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.